Hello and welcome to Cretaceous Cantina, where today we're having a look at the Mattel Jurassic World Legacy Collection Dr. Ian Malcolm 3 3/4 inch scale action figure. Now before we get started, a massive thanks to Dan O from the Dan O channel for sending this figure over for review. It is thanks to Dan O's graciousness that I have this figure in my possession and am able to do this review for you. So please go over to his channel. I will throw a link down in the description. Tell him Victoria sent you and be sure to hit that subscribe button when you get there. All right, Dr. Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum himself. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I think I ended up sounding more like Elvis there than Jeff Goldblum. So the packaging here is essentially the same as we've seen for the Legacy Collection for the 3 3/4 inch basic action figures. I did review all three of Wave 1 back in April, and it's nice. I think that there's a lot of wasted space in here. Definitely not very green. They could have compacted this a little bit better. But overall, I do like the coloring. I like the deep blue. I like the oranges. Even though it's a little bit strange the way you have the logo kind of behind the bubble partially and the Jurassic World Rex instead of the Jurassic Park Rex, but it'll suffice. As long as I get my figure, I'm happy. And back here you can see Jeff Goldblum being overrun by different compies, and I'm sure he'll make it out of that. I'm sure he will. Very nice picture there of Jeff Goldblum at the top. Yeah, looking very suave. And down here, all the usual information you get on these card backs. All right, so the moment we've all been waiting for, let's get him opened up. All right, so here's Dr. Malcolm out of the packaging, looking freaking awesome. I know we've been waiting a long time to get this action figure, and it's so awesome that he's finally here, finally hitting stores, even if he isn't very common yet, and will probably take some time to saturate. They are out there, so if you're looking for Dr. Malcolm, be persistent, keep checking your local Target. Probably the earlier in the day, the better, generally speaking. But yeah, the physique here looks really, really nice. I really like the proportions. I really like the overall aesthetic of the figure. Overall, it looks like they dialed in Dr. Ian Malcolm's likeness here. They definitely replicated his outfit. Very nice physique. I mean, I gotta say, they really did a nice job with the silhouette, making it look authentic. And I know I've noted it before, but I really don't like how they put those little numbers there. For the batch number, the production number, I wish they would find a better way to hide that. Let's go ahead and take a close-up look at his head. All right, so this looks very nice. Now, it's not 100%. It wasn't 100% with Wave 1. This seems to be on par with those figures. Maybe even a little bit, maybe a little better. When you look at it from the side, it looks a little bit odd. I feel like his jawline is kind of deep. It goes down a little bit far, thanks to the articulation that he has there at the neck. So that is a little bit strange, but I mean, look at that. That's definitely Jeff Goldblum. It's definitely Ian Malcolm. And I think it looks nice. You can see his eyes through the glasses. They're dark, but they are a little bit translucent. You can see through them. And just the overall facial features look pretty nice. And I mentioned Elvis earlier. This actually looks a little bit like Elvis, doesn't it? And those glasses, you can kind of move them. I don't think they come off. Oh, they do come off, but you're left with these little holes right there. So probably better to leave them in there. But hey, that's a pretty nice look at the figure without the glasses on. You know, if you didn't want to have the glasses on there, you don't mind those little holes, you could definitely do that. But yeah, these are the glasses right here. I think we'll go ahead and leave them on because seems to be the way the figure was intended to be, with the glasses on. They go on very easily back on there. And one thing I will note is that the lips do look a little bit strange. You can see they look a little bit dark. I don't know what it is. It just looks a little bit unusual. It almost looks like there's a little, like a black spot underneath the lips and almost like a black purpley look to those lips. So imperfect. I don't know if they're all going to be like this, but it is notable. So the rest of the costume looks quite nice. The hair looks quite nice. It definitely looks the part. Nice color. It's a little bit of a darker brown color. It's darker than the costume. And again, that costume looks really nice. You can see his silver chain on his neck. You can see his shirt. He's got his sleeves rolled up. He's got his collar. Pretty nice sculpting on the actual shirt. The pants have nice sculpting as well. They're a little less glossy than the shirt. You can see his belt right here. He's got some silver there in the buckle. And down here at the boots, you can see that they are a lighter color. They're more of a gray color. I always liked how Ian Malcolm had like those boots, and these are definitely pretty nicely done. They got a heel on them, some information there on the bottom. And for articulation, like the other figures, he does have a ball hinge at the head. It seems to be a little bit loose on my figure. I don't know if they're all going to be like this, but this seems a little bit loose. You can go side to side, not really up or down. You can tilt it a little bit. At the shoulders, you've got insert molded joints, so you can rotate them, go forward and back. Same thing here at both of the elbows. You can bend them. It looks like almost a full 90 degrees. Swivel them around. Nothing at the wrists. I think that's the biggest issue I have with these figures, is that they don't have articulation at the wrists. The other Legacy figures have rotating waists. I don't know if this one, I don't think it does. I'm moving it pretty hard and I don't want to break it. I don't think it has a joint here at the waist for whatever reason. So that's interesting. Here at the hips, he does have those insert molded ball joints, so you can open them up, do a split. Yeah. And here at the knees, you can do the same thing. So you can bend them out, and you can move them forward, rotate them. Nothing at the ankles either. So overall, pretty much on par with the other figures, except for the lack of a waist joint. So Dr. Malcolm comes with the flare. I know this is an accessory that a lot of us were pretty eager to get. It was kind of perplexing how Dr. Grant didn't have it, but it's very nice that Dr. Malcolm does, because we definitely need to have that flare. And just to show you how it was designed, basically you have the bottom part of the flare there where you would grab it, and then the rest is just kind of, I guess that'd be the flare part right there, the fire, and then the smoke kind of billowing out from it. It's a little bit lighter here on top, almost like a little bit, I don't know if that's white paint or if it's actually clear. I kind of feel like maybe it's just like a white paint that was sprayed on. But it's also a little translucent, as you can see. So that is a pretty nice looking flare. It's also worth noting that Dr. Malcolm only handles the flare in his left hand. He cannot hold it in the right hand. As you can see, it's more of an open design. Part of that might be the way that it's packaged, but he can only really hold it in the left hand, which is fine, because if you go back and look at the film, he actually holds it in both the right hand and the left hand. Before he tosses it, it's in the left hand, so that works. Now, of course, you also get a compy just like you do with the other figures. This also looks quite nice. It's very simple. It's very basic. There's not a whole lot of detail here. It's just basically cast in this rubbery green plastic. It is a different sculpt from the other compies. So these are the other three previous versions, and then this is the latest one. I don't know which one I like best. Take your pick. But I do like how this one has a coiled tail, so you can put them in different ways around your figures or on your Jeep, however you want to do it. You can see that it wraps very nicely around Dr. Malcolm's leg. I really like the coiling effect. It almost looks like a snake. Here's a comparison of the Legacy Collection Malcolm with the Kenner Jurassic Park Series 2 Malcolm figure. Now, I always thought that was one of the best figures that Kenner did back in the day, and probably from all of the Kenner Jurassic Park toys that were to be released in subsequent years. I still think Malcolm looked the overall best, looked the most movie accurate, but there's no denying, having the new Mattel version, that it's certainly an improvement. Very obviously, it's an improvement. It's a step forward. So as they say, life finds a way. Sorry, I was trying to find a place to use that line here. Here's a comparison of all of our Legacy Collection human action figures from the original Jurassic Park film. I love these. Out of all of the amazing stuff that Mattel has done for the Jurassic World toy line, I love the Legacy Collection. In particular, I love the human action figures and the Jeep. These just look fantastic next to each other. And I really hope that next year they continue to build out this line. There's so much potential. I hope that Target gives this line the support that it deserves, because Legacy is just freaking awesome. And I don't know, which of these figures are your favorite? I'm not sure which one's my favorite. I'm kind of torn between Ellie and Malcolm. But all of them are really nice, and it's pretty crazy to have Jurassic Park 1993 action figures brand new in the year 2018. I love that. Now, the other really cool thing about getting Malcolm is that we can now finally fill up our Jeep Wrangler. And this is super cool, having all of these major characters in here. I don't know if you want to consider Muldoon major. He's a pretty prominent character. But we definitely have the big three plus Muldoon in there. And this looks really, really nice. Now, as far as getting these two guys in the back, it's a little bit crowded. You kind of got to have them fighting for room in there, but it works. They're in there pretty nicely. And they're not going anywhere. They're pretty snug, pretty comfy. Yeah, this is really nice, and I'm really happy to be able to finally flesh out the Jeep Wrangler with all of these great characters. Let's go faster. Let's go faster. Think they'll have that on the tour? All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Mattel Jurassic World Legacy Collection, Dr. Ian Malcolm. Overall, you guys, I really like the figure. It's so nice to finally add Dr. Malcolm to my collection, even though the figure isn't completely perfect. And there's a couple weird things going on with the face, and he's missing the waist joint. The accessory is really nice, and by and large, he's just a great figure. I'm gonna give him 10 out of 10 gold blooms. Again, I hope that Target continues to support the Legacy Collection because it is amazing and there are so many possibilities that Mattel could do using the 3 original Jurassic Park films. I love it. I'm very happy to finally have it, and that's, again, thanks to Dan O from the Dan O channel for sending that over to me. Huge thank you, Dan O, for doing that. That was very kind of you. So be sure to go over there and subscribe to his channel, and let me know your thoughts on Dr. Malcolm. How do you think he turned out? Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the latest news and updates. And as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Cretaceous Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.